JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 8 JoJolion is hot fire, and although it is not my favourite part of JoJo's, as each chapter comes out, my love for JoJolion only grows, and unlike my usual character analysis and thematic breakdowns videos, I'm going to today take a strike at a prediction. And yes, as the title suggests, I will be trying to predict the name of Kaato Higashikata's unnamed stand using facts and knowledge. Before we get into the video, I'd like to do a wholly original thing and ask you all to like, subscribe and maybe leave a comment. Anyway, on with the video. Part 8 has not got a clear main antagonist, at the current point in the manga at least, but there are a few main options people lean towards. First is Jobin, because of his involvement with the rock humans. Second is Toru, because look at him, he's definitely an evil prick. Third is the head doctor, that being if he exists as a person and a stand at the same time, but we really don't know enough about the head doctor's stand thing to be sure. And the last option is Kaato. And personally I think the main antagonist of this part would be Kaato, and there is a few reasons for this. Firstly, she has weird eyes, which is a telling sign of JoJo antagonists. I mean, just look at Kira and Diavolo's eyes. But this really isn't strong evidence, but don't worry, I do have more. In the Prime Universe, all main antagonist stands have something to do with time. The world could stop time, Killer Queen Bites the Dust could make time loops, King Crimson could erase time, and Made in Heaven could speed up time. However, once we got to the Steel Ball Run universe, we get dirty deeds done dirt cheap. And D4C, unlike the rest of these stands, has no effect on time, instead it could move between parallel dimensions. So what if in the Steel Ball Run universe, main antagonist stands don't control time, but space? And what does Kaato's stand do? It traps objects within cards, or more likely she can access pocket dimensions through cards. Not only is this also a space-based power, it's also a dimension-based power. D4C moves between dimensions, and Kaato's stand can access pocket dimensions. The similarity, in my opinion, is no coincidence. And just narratively, it works. Part 8 follows the Higashikata family, and who opposes them? Well, the former wife of Narusuke. And who is the only member of the Higashikata family who is in contact with Kaato? Well, that would be Jobin. And who is currently opposing the family? Jobin. I think Kaato is using Jobin as a pawn. In a way, at least, and is after the Rokakaka fruit for her own purposes. But we've talked about Kaato's future role in the story for way too long. Now we are here to discuss her stand. Okay, prediction time. Kaato's stand will be a queen reference, and again, yes, I have evidence or at least some reasons. All of the Higashikata stands have king in the name. Wow, big whoop there, nobody knew that. So wouldn't it make sense for Kaato Higashikata to also have king in her name? No, because as far as most Higashikatas are concerned, she ain't a true member of the family and is actively opposing them. And what is the opposite of a king? Well, that's a queen. But is that really enough evidence to claim her stand as a queen reference? Yeah? Video over? Of course not. However, if we think about the future of the story at least, Josuke will definitely get stand evolution. I think most people agree with this. And if he is to become a true Higashikata, this new stand will have to have king in the name, and whether this stand is King Crimson or King Creole or even Talking Heads, that doesn't matter for this discussion. What matters is the fact his stand will be a king, and if Kaato is meant to be his main adversary, surely her stand should be a foil to a queen for a king. And such duality is something Araki obviously cares about. I mean, Crazy Diamond fixes things, and Killer Queen destroys things. King Crimson erases time and can see fate, and Gold Experience Requiem can erase actions and stop people from reaching their fates. So having a queen-king rivalry would not be unheard of. Another weird thing I noticed that may be nothing is the names of the main enemy stands in each part. Not counting part 3, because that's before music references became the mainstay for stand names, because only Cream and Tenor Sax are named after music references in this part. So yeah, let's ignore part 3 just for this example. So yeah, part 4's Killer Queen, and all its subsequent abilities are queen references. Part 5's King Crimson is a reference to the band King Crimson. Pucci has multiple stands throughout part 6, but Made in Heaven is his final stand and it is a queen reference. Then D4C in part 7 is an AC/DC reference. And we don't know the name of part 9's main enemy stand yet, but it probably is going to be Kaato's. But did you notice a pattern? It might just be me looking too far into things, but it seems that every other stand is a queen reference. But okay, that might be a coincidence, so I'll leave that point be for the moment. If Kaato's stand is a queen reference though, it does bring up one issue. Kira's stand was Killer Queen, and I know that stands are not related just because they're artists in real life, but in part 8 at least this kind of thing does have some meaning. I mean, both Josuke and Yasuho have Prince songs as their stands. But if this is the case, well, this only strengthens my argument. A good antagonist needs to be a good foil. Josuke was welcomed into the Higashikata family and has a goal to save them. Well, he needs to specifically save Tsurugi from the rock disease, but he's not trusted by Jobin. Kaato was kicked out of the Higashikata household and only seems to care deeply about Jobin and not really so much about Tsurugi. They are opposites, but the good foil also needs to be similar. I'm not confident to name an exact similarity just yet, but what if Killer Queen is the key? Soft and wet is the stand of Josefumi, who makes up half of Josuke. What if Killer Queen being the stand of half of Josuke is representative of the fact that in some ways Josuke and Kaato are similar, with Kato's stand and one of Josuke's former stands being a queen reference. As whereas Killer Queen is a queen reference, Soft and Wet is a prince reference, and what happens to a prince when they mature? They become a king. And to take this to an even greater extreme, what if the reason, thematically at least, Josuke has Soft and Wet and not Killer Queen, is to show how he distanced himself from the ideals that he and Kaato share. So Soft and Wet represents his similarities with the Higashikata family, and Killer Queen to his similarities with Kaato. But that's just a thought. Okay, so I've gone on for long enough about why I think Kato's stand will be a queen reference, but which one? I doubt it'll be named after a past stand, so I doubt will be the reference. My first picks were either White Queen or March of the Black Queen, and both songs detail the journey of meeting a woman. In White Queen, a man lusts after a woman, believing she is perfect, and in March of the Black Queen, this reality is shattered and the man realises she is a cruel mistress. This is a bit like how Narusuke once married Kaato only to divorce her, now seeing her as a cruel mistress. So either White Queen or March of the Black Queen could be the stand name, but I'm more inclined towards March of the Black Queen or simply just Black Queen. Or alternatively, her stand is White Queen, and when her true nature at least, or her evil plans are exposed to Jobin, the one family member who still loves her and hasn't realised the truth, her stand evolves, becoming Black Queen as her true nature as a cruel mistress are revealed. So yeah, either of these songs could be a great reference for Kato's stand. If you still think that her stand needs to have King in the name, I guess My Fairy King could work, but the meaning of that song really doesn't reflect Kaato much, and the name would have to be rejigged a bit and become King Fairy or something to fit the generational naming convention of the Higashikata family. But yeah, I doubt this will be a stand name, but there is one more stand name I think is more likely, and that is just simply Queen. If Josuke's stand becomes King Creole, which I personally believe, check out Aeon Star's amazing video on the topic, it is truly amazing, and you should definitely watch it, it's better than this video, then Josuke will represent Elvis, the King of Rock. So who is the Queen of Rock? Such a title isn't really given to anyone, but I feel the band literally called Queen is the best stand-in in this situation. And if her stand is named after the band, then Killer Queen being similar to part of Kaato makes more sense, as Killer Queen is a song by Queen, and as such Josuke's former stand represents a small part of Kaato. And also Queen relates to playing cards, as a queen is a suit in a deck of cards, and if we look at the meaning behind playing cards, we come to the Queen of Hearts, which represents affection and love, much like Kaato, who has a twisted way of loving her family. And I think this points more towards the stand being just Queen and not Black Queen, as the Queen of Hearts is from a red suit and not a black suit. And apart from the whole black and red in playing cards, black and white doesn't really have any implications to JoJolion as a whole, as far as I can tell, whereas playing cards have more of a symbology of it, with many of the Higashikata family representing playing cards. So there you go, I predict Kato's stand will either be called Queen or some variation of March of the Black Queen. Though I'm not saying I am right, as for all I know her stand could be called Queen of Spades after the Styx song, or maybe Queen of the Stone Age. And I reckon by next chapter this will all be disproven, and all this work would have been for nothing. Nah, I enjoyed making this video, and that's what really counts, because it's the friendship we made along the way. Also off script a bit, Araki better not use White Queen or My Fairy King as a reference, as besides YouTuber, I'm also a writer, and like everyone, I am inspired by what I like, so I often use the Araki approach of adapting music into my writing, and I've already based two characters around these two songs, so we better not use them, because the last thing I want to be called is an Araki copycat. But that's my rant out of the way. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, as I can't explain to you how much that simple action can do for this channel, and if you want to see more, from me at least, follow my Twitter at SethTheS, or my Instagram, SethTheSin_cosplay. With all that said, I've been Seth the Sin, the deadly sin of geek, signing out. Stay indoors and stay safe everyone.